Good evening, everyone. And by the way, Bobby, my light is on, my mic is on. Testing.
It's me.
One moment, please.
What about now?
Testing. Okay,
I had a new icon I've never gotten before, so.
we good. All right. Once again, welcome everybody. I'd like to call to order the Rapid City Area Schools Board of Education regular meeting. Sheila, can we have a roll call, please?
Troy Carr,
Here.
Jamie Clapham,
Here.
Katie Urban,
Here.
Donna Moore,
Here.
Walt Swan,
Here.
Angela Rafferty,
Here.
Christine Stephenson,
Here.
Marissa Bonnes,
Here.
Alina Braun.
Here.
At this time, and Sheila, my apologies that I didn't catch this before, but the invocation will come next and then the Pledge of Allegiance. So at this time, we're going to have our invocation by Reverend Steve Selfridge. Thank you so much for doing that tonight. You have 1 minute.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for our universe, for you making our earth, for giving us the United States, for giving us South Dakota, and thank you for giving us Rapid City, this place in which we live. I pray that you would guide and guard every person, staff, administration, school board, staff, students, parents, guardians, coaches. Each is so valuable in your sight. I pray for every location, elementary, middle, high school, alternative school, homeschool. I pray that you would guide this leadership group in all decisions. I pray that you will provide them discernment, clarity, insight, and direction. I also ask for your protection for everyone involved. And I pray that you would guide and instruct in every decision tonight. May each be able to say, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. In Jesus' name, amen.
I invite you to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, at this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the proposed agenda.
I'll motion.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the proposed agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say no. Motion carries. This time we have sharing the success.
And Ms. Hogenkamp is going to be doing a presentation for us in regards to the sharing of the success. And I believe the presentation is on the screen.
Oh. That kind of ran it all. So we at Meadowbrook have two hydroponic stations now. One was purchased through Rapid City Area Public Schools. Foundation, and then the second one was purchased. Okay, the first one was purchased from Rapid City East Public School Foundation, and the second one was given or able to be purchased through our PTA and Nerdy Nuts. Both made a contribution to that one. So these guys will now share.
Hello, this is our presentation on our HPs or hydroponic project. And we started it in January and we basically grow plants in these towers.
And while we're at break, parents, you are free if you want to take pictures to come and in front, take pictures. So.
So hydroponics is a method of growing plants without soil using mineral nutrient-rich water, which deliver essential elements using nutrients directly to the roots, often supported by an inert medium like a perlite or cocoa coir.
Our classes have been growing romaine lettuce, green star lettuce, and basil. Miss Blank's class has mainly been growing romaine lettuce, also known as cos lettuce, which is a popular crisp leafy green with long sturdy leaves and a mild, slightly sweet flavor, known for its use in Caesar salads and wraps.
The first day we were growing our plants, we had to plant them in the rockwool tray shown behind you. So each person in the class was given a couple seeds that were coated in nutrients, and we planted them one each in the rockwool slots. Rockwool is our substitute for soil. On day 4, we transplanted the plants with the rockwool into the hydroponics machine. This is how we did it. The first thing we did is divide each sprouts into cubes. Then we uncapped the holes in the machines. Finally, we put the sprouts along with the rockwool in the holes. We had to leave some holes empty for room for the lettuce to grow.
After transplanting, all we had to do was monitor the ppm and the pH levels. ppm stands for part per million, and that is our ratio of water to nutrients. And pH is the level of acidity in the water. The picture shown is the week we were going to harvest the lettuce, and this is what the plants looked like.
We started harvesting the lettuce. You start harvesting the lettuce by taking out the lettuce and separate it from the hydroponic machine and then rinse them. And then after that, you will put them in a Ziploc bag with a paper towel. And then we will put it in a cooler to let it cool till our salad party.
During our salad party, everybody got at least one thing of one practically thing of lettuce, and everybody got to do practically whatever they wanted with it. And we were allowed to bring ranch, and I brought olives, but and then we were allowed to bring some home, and during the time that we weren't eating it, it was usually refrigerated.
After we refrigerated some of the salad, today at lunch, we used it for some hamburgers.
Everybody from every grade was allowed to get some lettuce and put it on their hamburger.
All the credits on the screen are who helped make this slideshow. We hope you enjoyed listening to our slideshow. This was really fun for everybody.
And now we will pass around bins with checklists that we use and the supplies we use to check the nutrients.
Wow, wonderful. All right. Can we have all the presenters? Will you come back up, please? I know I have one question. There might be some other board members with questions, and then parents, if you want to come up for pictures. Bobby, this is your time for pictures too. So you all come and just in a straight line. So if you're in the back, come. Just make one line across. All right, wonderful.
Pass the mic to them, okay? I'm sure.
Okay, my first question is, you said you use rock wool instead of soil. What is that?
So we kind of touched on it in the presentation. So rock wool is substitute for soil, and it lets the nutrient covered seeds sprout, and it lets the water go into it.
Okay, all right. Ms. Stephenson.
I just wanted to say thank you. I've already tucked into this romaine lettuce, and I bet it's gone by the end of the night. It's super delicious. My question for you, well, first of all, I have two questions. I heard on the public school podcast, did you know that your teacher was interviewed on it and she talked about this? I heard that you were going to share this with kindergartners. Did that end up happening? Did you bring the kindergartners in for your salad day?
We were. So every class had groups, and then certain groups did different things, and we practically showed the hydroponic slideshows with every single grade. And then today we got to share our lettuce with every grade, and they got to put it on the hamburgers that we were doing at lunch.
That's so great. So my follow-up question is, did any of you, or did you hear from any students who were like, I don't like lettuce, and then they tried this and they were like, oh, maybe I do like lettuce?
Yes, I've heard from some students that actually changed their opinion on lettuce. So
That's so great. Good job, guys. That's a really big deal.
Ms. Clapham.
Or do you just want to go in order and have this back to you?
No, Ms. Clapham.
Okay. One, I want to say what an awesome job. I'm super impressed. There are a lot of people that are adults that can't handle presenting in front of large groups, and I'm sure you guys know, but there's people out in YouTube land that are also watching this right now, so it's not just the people in this room. And probably and I wanted to ask, how did you choose? Did you guys choose which lettuce or plants to grow in the basil, or did your teachers choose, or how did you choose?
I think it was just our teachers. We didn't really get to choose. They just assigned it to our class. So, yeah.
And then my second question, are any of you now more motivated to be gardeners and grow things this summer? Now that you've had this experience?
No,
I appreciate your honesty. I kill everything. So I appreciate that honesty. And I won't say there's a word I'm looking for. But anyway, I just also want to say that I am very privileged that I happen to know all three of these teachers, and they're wonderful, fabulous humans. And so I'm really glad that you guys got to do this project with them. And all of our students are fortunate, but we're really fortunate to have these guys. They're pretty great. So really, really good job. I'm really impressed.
I just said that because it's a lot of hard work. I understand. I can do hard stuff, but it's just
Hard work.
Ms. Rafferty.
Well, first of all, I want to say this is the prettiest lettuce I've ever seen. When I look at my garden, I mean, this is amazing. It looks like something you can sell in the grocery store or at farmer's market. So my next question, what are you going to do? Are you going to continue with this and continue to grow it, or finish eating it? What are your plans for the lettuce that you still have, or is it gone?
So I think we just passed it all out today at lunch, but they just said we're doing flowers next.
Oh, yay.
Ms. Urban.
Great job with your presentation. I actually learned a lot. I know this took some money from the Public School Foundation but are you guys gonna be able to continue this year with another growth opportunity or in the future?
Yes, ma'am. I believe that we're doing flowers next. And after that, I'm sure we'll be growing many more plants for our school.
Dr. Thompson.
I saw on the checklist that if the pH is way too low in the orange or red zone, that you have to throw out the water and start all over. Did any of you have that happen?
Well, I wasn't on the maintenance group, so I was not in charge of any of that. So, I think he can, but.
Yeah, perfect.
So, I don't really think it happened due to us checking it every week. But I'm pretty sure if you weren't to be frequent, then it would probably need more pH.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else with any other questions? Thank you very much. An excellent presentation. Appreciate it.
Stay.
All right, again, thank you. Next on our agenda is open forum. We have one tonight, and Ms. Anderson. Thank you, Ms. Anderson. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you. That's a hard act to follow. Good evening. My name is Tanya Andreessen. I'm here to respectfully request review and clarification regarding the district's current practice regarding acceptance of out-of-state dual enrollment courses for high school credit. I recently contacted school and district administration to inquire about the process for my daughter to receive credit for dual enrollment courses she plans to take online through Arizona State University. I was informed by district representative that the current practice is not to accept out-of-state college coursework for high school credit. After my initial correspondence, I submitted follow-up emails seeking clarification and additional information, but have not received a response. The lack of clarity has brought me here this evening to respectfully request further review and guidance. After reviewing board policies IGCF, which addresses earning college credit in high school, and IKF, which outlines graduation requirements, I see the policies reference partnerships with South Dakota institutions, but I do not see language in the policy that prohibits acceptance of accredited out-of-state dual enrollment coursework. Because the policy does not clearly state that credits must originate from South Dakota institutions, I'm seeking clarification on the process available to receive credit when coursework meets standard or accreditation standards, academic rigor, and graduation requirements. We're pursuing dual enrollment so that she can earn college credit while completing her high school requirements, gaining both academic and financial benefits. It gives her the exposure to the rigor and expectation of college level coursework, helping develop her confidence, independence, and strong time management skills before graduation, all of which will support her future academic success. Earning credits now can reduce overall tuition costs and shorten the time needed to complete the degree. Dual enrollment also provides access to specialized courses not available at the high school level, better aligning with her academic path and her post-secondary goals, easing transition into higher education. My daughter selected ASU intentionally as she plans to attend an out-of-state college. Based on my prior experience with older children, ASU credits transfer smoothly and consistently. Arizona State University is a regionally accredited public university with nationally recognized online dual enrollment programs. The courses she plans to take are standard transferable college courses with defined syllabi, learning objectives, credit hours, and grading criteria. These courses can be documented on her high school transcript using official university transcripts and course descriptions, just as in-state dual enrollment courses are. I've been informed through the school counselor that the process involves two very straightforward steps: verifying enrollment and adding the completed coursework to her transcript. Allowing these courses to be added to her transcript would support academic rigor, long-term educational planning, and college readiness without creating additional administrative burden. Given this, I remain concerned that the current practice may unintentionally limit access and alignment for students pursuing post-secondary education outside of South Dakota, which does appear inconsistent with the policy's stated goals of promoting equity and access. Many out-of-state institutions have more competitive admission requirements than those within South Dakota, making it especially important that these credits be reflected on high school transcripts. Because these courses directly impact the GPA, they play a meaningful role in the overall academic profile and future college admission opportunities. I fully understand the importance of consistency and fairness in district practices. My request is simply that the board review this matter and clarify whether accredited, standard-aligned dual enrollment coursework should be considered regardless of state location. Thank you for your time, your service, and your continued commitment to support students' academic growth. I do have additional copies of my presentation if any board members would like them.
You can leave those with our secretary, and if a board member would like, we'll pick them up from her. Thank you very much. All right, board member response to our open forum. Ms. Clapham.
I just want to say, one, I'm really glad you came, even though I didn't actually respond to your email when you asked about it. So my sincere apologies about that. But I just want to say, I appreciate, one, the thorough and respectful way that you brought this forward. And I think I also appreciate that you're approaching something, obviously it affects your own child, but this could affect many children in the future. So this is not just a one-off, like you're just asking because you want the specific thing for your child. So I appreciate your global view of that. And being on the policy committee, I think it's good for us to hear from parents, students, staff on what policies we need to review and look at and see, are they working for this or are they not? So I know that I said I did for that. And so I know it's on our radar, and I said, appreciate your thoroughness, your respectful way of presenting and bringing this to our attention.
Thank you.
Ms. Urban.
Thank you for presenting. I think these are very valid questions, and I look forward to hearing what my colleagues on the policy committee discuss and decide in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Thompson.
I just wanted to say that I am still in the process of researching this issue for you, and that I will have a response for you and for board members as well. But I didn't want to give you an incomplete answer.
Thank you.
Ms. Stephenson.
I just had a follow-up question. Did you,
This is, we're just doing our response, so it's not a dialogue at this time.
oh, I apologize. And no follow-up question. I'll email you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, again, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, student reports. Ms. Braun from Stevens.
Good evening, board. To start off tonight's report, the annual Jazz and Pops concert is taking place tonight at 7 in the theater. The Stevens Symphonic Concert and 3 jazz bands are looking forward to a fun concert tonight, performing Billy Joel, Spirited Away, and much more. We are excited to show off what we've been working on for the past couple months, and right after this report, I will be heading off to perform myself. Last week and this weekend, our boys and girls wrestling teams went up to state. On the boys' side, Jackson Tenney's placed 5th and Tucker Mason placed 7th. And with the whole team capping off a successful season on a high note. And our girls team saw Aubrey Walker place 7th, Brooklyn Smith place 5th, and we had a 2nd place finisher in Bella Marteo. We are excited about their performance and are looking forward to next season. As Stevens starts to consider next year, the administration is looking at adding an additional PEP assembly to the schedule. This would tentatively be placed before winter break, with the January PEP assembly being moved to the spring. This is in response to student feedback from surveys saying that they enjoy Spirit Weeks and several successful PEP assemblies this year. We hope that the additional assemblies will allow us to further recognize academic and club achievement as well as athletic performances. As winter sports are coming to a close, the Raider track team began their season yesterday. They are looking forward to a strong season helped by incorporating head coach. Oh my goodness. They are hoping to start off a strong season by incorporating some values told to me by head track coach Paul Hendry. He says, our girls team returns nearly everyone from last year and is shaping up to be one of the teams to watch this spring. While the boys graduated a strong senior class, we have a dedicated group of athletes who put in the work during the off-season and are ready to step up. This year, we're especially excited about continuing to build our culture through our shared vision, greater purpose, and teamwork together, and our mantra of making every moment matter. It's going to be a great season for the Raider track and field. I would also like to report on an ongoing project at Stevens High School. We have a wall in our main hallway, or the link, recognizing staff and alumni veterans from Stevens. Stevens teachers Cody and Alicia English started this project several years ago, printing out photos and service dates for our veterans. National Honor Society has been working this year to upgrade the wall. They bought plaques and will use volunteers tomorrow for Senior Service Day to assemble them and hang them on our wall. We are incredibly proud of our Stevens alum and staff that have devoted themselves to protecting our country, and we want to honor them properly with this project. Beyond the surface level activities at Stevens, the senior class is wading through college applications and trying to plan their future. This is an incredibly stressful time for our senior class as their college decisions begin to trickle in. Beyond college admittance, my peers and I are trying to figure out how we are going to pay for college and what we want to do next year. Things are getting real fast, and I know my classmates and I are feeling that acutely. We are certainly not without the school's help, however. College visits, interviews, and other visits of educational value are considered excused absences. This policy encourages students, including myself, not to worry about missing school to gain a better understanding of what they are interested in. I think I can speak for most people when I say we are both eagerly and nervously awaiting May 24th when we are officially alumni of Stevens. And my staff spotlight for this week is Megan Giese. Ms. Giese is a first-year teacher at Stevens, and she teaches history. Ms. Giese is also the student council advisor this year. She is a teacher because she loves to work with kids, and in her free time, she likes to work out and cook. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Board members, any questions or comments for Ms. Braun?
We're sorry that we can't make your performance.
Yeah, thank you very much. At this time, Mrs. Bonnes from Central.
Good evening, board. It is a pleasure to be back this week with plenty of positive developments to share from Central. First, faculty members recently participated in a 10-question employee experience survey addressing categories such as support in fulfilling workplace responsibilities, receiving recognition for contributions, and overall well-being. Across the board, positive responses to all questions either improved or remained consistent from the last survey, reflecting strong staff satisfaction at this time. In the near future, administration plans to poll students as well, with the goal of using this data to improve school culture and enhance the individual student experience. It is also worth mentioning that tomorrow, as we wish our 9th through 11th grade students luck with their pre-ACT and ACT testing, the senior class is very excited to engage in the first official senior service day. Throughout the school year, I have personally observed a significant increase in our student body's desire to make a positive impact beyond the classroom by reaching out into our community, which is why I think this initiative will be a great opportunity to do so for all students. I will personally be volunteering alongside our principal, Mr. Lundeen, to engage in community cleanup, and I look forward to sharing what will certainly be a positive outcome for all involved in the next meeting. Last week, Central also hosted its first ever club fair. The entire student body was able to browse through booths from nearly every extracurricular activity offered at the school, engaging with representatives and discovering new avenues to explore their passions. The fair was a great success, and we anticipate it will increase involvement in a meaningful way. Also last week, the ROTC program hosted a very successful blood drive, collecting 62 units of blood. Looking ahead to the remainder of the school year, parent-teacher conferences will be held on March 17th, and we are very excited to host a listening session with our superintendent on March 26th. I am also excited to announce that the official date has also been set for Central's first annual Culture Night, which will occur on April 20th at 5:30 p.m. Families of all backgrounds will be invited to come share and celebrate their heritage and culture, whether that be through their favorite dish, song or dance, traditional clothing, or simply just sharing some fun stories. Additional information will be available from the Student Council Advisor as the event approaches. And zooming in on our activities, our music department has been very busy as of recent with the solo and ensemble contest and honors orchestra concert, both of which went exceedingly well. At the state wrestling tournament last week, Central placed 8 wrestlers in the top 10, including our very own state champion, Pierce Hurd. And both our girls and boys basketball teams qualified for the SODAC 16, and the girls will play against Aberdeen this Friday, while the boys will face off against Sioux Falls Roosevelt on Saturday. We are also proud to recognize Central's first female 1,000-point scorer, Leah Landry. Finally, the speech and debate team will travel to the state tournament on Thursday, with competition taking place on Friday and Saturday. And with that, I will conclude my report. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Board members, any questions for Ms. Von Ness? Ms. Stephenson?
Can you just repeat the date of the culture night?
Yes, absolutely. It's April 20th at 5:30.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
That was who's sponsoring that? Who's?
I am not
Yeah.
currently sure, but I can get back to you as soon as I get that information.
No problem.
Yes.
All right, Ms. Clapham?
I just want to make sure, so both of the basketball playoff games are not home games, correct? Oh, they're both away.
Yes, I do believe so. I do believe so.
Thank you.
Okay. Again, another great report. Thank you so very much. All right, at this time, Dr. Thompson.
Thank you, Bishop Carr. My report will be very short this evening as I am in the middle of several projects, but am not ready to report out on them yet. I did want to share some special events that are coming up. Spring is always a fun time of year in the public school system, although Marissa did steal some of my thunder. The first event is tomorrow, Senior Service Day, which Marissa spoke about. And then on Saturday, we are having the student art auction at the Dahl Art Center, which the proceeds will benefit the RCAS student lunch debt. There will be a jazz band, food and drinks available, as well as the opportunity to purchase some wonderful art, I am sure. Then on the 16th, we have the first, hopefully annual 30+ breakfast club, where our foundation will honor our staff who have 30 or more years of experience with us. So definitely something worth honoring and celebrating. And then just on the 26th, we have the Central High School Student Council listening session, which you have all been invited to participate in. I do not have a lot of things listed in April, although I do know I should now have the Central High School Culture Night listed for April 20th. And then, of course, in May, Sheila sent you all of these invites today, but we have the last day of school, the feathering ceremony, RCAA graduation, and then the Central Emma Stevens graduation. So we want to make sure we get those ingrained in our mind and on our calendars, as we don't want to miss any of those important events. And I think I missed a slide. Upcoming study sessions. Next week, March 10th, we have several important topics, including early childhood programming options, junior kindergarten and preschool, virtual elementary school, a safety presentation, and my staffing guidelines presentation. In April, we will have a larger presentation on the science of reading and our literacy grant, which I know are burning questions all across the district. And then May 12th, we have some ideas, but we also have room to take your suggestions. So if you have any topics that you would like us to present on, please email that to me. And then I'm suggesting that in June and July, we may not have study sessions, as a lot of staff are taking vacation at that time. And that is all that I have this evening, although I do think that Mr. Sassy may have a lengthy presentation judging by his notes.
Ms. Stephenson.
Yeah, I will not be at the March 10th study session, although all those topics are super interesting to me and I'd like to learn more about them. So that one will be recorded, like all our meetings. It'll be on Zoom. Okay, appreciate that. I will watch it afterwards.
I did, Dr. Thompson, is there, this year a separate GED graduation. I missed that last year, which is separate from then the main RCAA graduation. Just.
I will check on that and get
Thank
back
you.
to you.
Thank you very much. All right, any other board members, questions for Dr. Thompson? All right, Mr. Sassy.
Thank you, President Carr. I actually also have a very short presentation. A lot of my conversation will come later. Really just wanted to mention a couple things. As Dr. Thompson said, this is a really busy time of year. Kicked off the negotiation season this morning with one of our groups. That always takes a ton of time and effort and a lot of preoccupation with that area. So it also sort of puts the budget process on hold until we get through to a better point where we better understand what's going to happen in negotiations and what the outcome will be. So there's a lot going on, but not a lot to talk about at this point. I did want to mention very quickly, if you've been paying attention to the legislative process, it's still a mess. There's still just a ton of bills in play that look like they're going to push right to the wire in terms of when and how and what we're going to find out. A lot of property tax bills still in play, which have a huge impact on school districts. There has been a lot of discussion about what's going to happen with the inflationary factor of the state aid formula. A lot of speculation about what that amount could be or is going to be. Ultimately, right now, there is not a bill presented that includes an inflationary increase. So we're hoping in the next couple of days that a bill gets resurrected and that hopefully there's an inflationary increase attached to that. So, but in a bit of good news, which is seemingly rare in this discussion, a bill that the board has supported publicly, House Bill 1082, the student nutrition bill that provides for reduced funding for reduced breakfast and lunch meals, passed through the Senate Appropriations Committee this morning, is going to the full Senate tomorrow. So big steps forward, and really looks like that might be a bill that's going to get across the finish line and is really a great bill. Does a lot of good things. I think it's not going to solve all the problems in terms of student nutrition and a lot of the things that we're facing, but it certainly does a lot of really good things and a step in the right direction. So I'm super happy that bill has gone so far. We've gotten to be really involved in the process, being on the what they call the School Lunch Coalition. Representative Caden Whitman put that together multiple years ago now, and a lot of good people on that. A lot of people in our own community that have supported that. So that's a great thing. And anytime we see legislation that positively affects education, we get really excited about that. So fingers crossed for it in the full Senate tomorrow, and hopefully it gets over the finish line. And that would be one a feather I think we could put in our cap. So those are good things. And of course, we'll continue to watch the legislative process unfold and do our best to communicate with our representatives on things that we feel need to be supported or not supported, and hope for good outcomes in that process. So I'll stop there, President Carr, and happy to answer any questions.
Okay, board members, any questions for Dr. Mr. Sassy?
No, doctor.
Been thinking about Dr.
Yeah, that's it.
Dr. Strasser. I was gonna maybe
Make him
he's
talk.
back to being quiet again at the meeting, so.
We need to have Dr. Strasser word minimum.
Yeah, we should definitely ask him some questions.
Okay, I see no questions, and so we'll move on. There are no conflict of interest. This time I will entertain a motion to approve the proposed agreements and MOUs.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the proposed agreements and MOUs. Any discussion? On any? Okay, seeing no discussion, all in favor of approving the proposed agreements and MOUs signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say no. Motion carries. Is there any consent agenda item that a board member would like to pull? Okay, Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the proposed consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the proposed consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say no. Motion carries. Number 14. I will. Okay, I'll do it this way. I'll entertain a motion to approve the Rapid City Area School legislative platforms.
Second.
It's been moved to approve the Rapid City Area Schools legislative platforms. Any discussion? I hesitated because one of the positions has already been killed. So it's a moot point whether we approve it or not. So there's technically only one position that we're approving. So just so everyone has that clear. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor of approving the one legislative platform that's still available, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say no. Okay, that motion carries. Items for board information, committee reports. All right, Mr. Swan.
Thank you, President Carr. We did have the regular meeting of the Title VI Parent Advisory Committee on February 18th out at South Canyon. They failed to make quorum, so there was a couple of items they weren't able to do was approval of the agenda and the meeting minutes from past. They did have a guest speaker, Kehala Tubuls from CASA, who had a really good presentation. We thanked her for coming. As well, there was a lot of talk about the feathering ceremony, the monument, and superintendent had, we just approved the, I guess, the cost for that. So that was a budget amendment that was put up. As well, they did have a lively discussion about the attendance program, or about the attendance policy regarding powwows and the idea that they would like to join the Tetra Wachipi Okola Kichie. Our superintendent owes $5 because she couldn't say it. So that was a lively discussion, and they had talked about, there were a number of things that they would like to move forward in regards to that. What that Wachipi is it's a dance competition for all reservation schools. They do have an event here at the LNI that I believe it's Little Wound, right, Coy? Little Wound is the host school for that. So they're looking to see if we're able to do that. So there's a number of discussions about Wachipis here in the Rapid City area schools here lately. So, but it's about listening and about finding the right path forward on those. One thing that I would like to say is that that the superintendent did share is that Jamie Johnson is moving on from her position up there, and we wish her the best of luck. She's been with us for a little bit and understands the ins and outs of the Indian education program. I certainly wish her the best of luck, and I think that's about it. Thank you.
All right, any questions for Mr. Swan?
So a little bit more on the, I'm not going to try to say the word because I don't want to owe you $5. I will learn it though. So is that something like, is it like once a year event, or is it like a series of events throughout the year?
It's a series of events throughout the year at all of the tribal schools and public schools on the reservation, specifically the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. And they've been doing this for years. I mean, I think they're in their like 20th, 25th year, something like that. But they crown a champion at the end, and it's really a really good opportunity for youth to, I guess, participate. So it's quite significant.
Cool, that sounds very interesting. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? All right, Ms. Stephenson.
Thank you. I have a couple committee reports. I'll start with the one that I actually typed out, which was our facilities meeting on February 18th. We actually voted on a couple of these things just minutes ago, but the secure entrance bids came in on the 18th. So we discussed those a little bit. Secure entrances at, I think it was 6 schools, and then Knollwood windows. We talked a little bit, and this is just a little send some good energy out into the universe that there are some federal rebates for the geothermal system at South Middle School. Jade has done a lot of work getting, working with a firm so that we can apply for those rebates. The work is done and it's going to be submitted, and it's just in the hands of, it is currently, once we submit it, it'll be in the hands of the IRS. So there's no lobbying to be done. There's nothing. It's just a hope that we did everything correctly and that the rules still apply the way that they did when we started this process. So we talked about that. We talked then a little bit about bond, and just Jade has been meeting with co-op to firm up all the cost estimates so that we're really sure about what we're voting on and the cost of it, and the wording, so that it, you know, if costs go up, we can be very clear that we're supplementing some of these projects with capital outlay, and we want to be very clear on that. I think our messaging really should be pretty clear overall that the projects in the bond are only some of the projects that we're gonna do. We have capital outlay savings, and we're gonna be funding more projects with this, but the bond is needed for some of them, and then capital outlay will supplement. I thought that Coy and Jade shared good news that they met with Vicky Fisher, who is the city planner from the planning department, and that she has said that she's also just still really supportive of the bond, and the city is behind us on the plan that we have, which is great legwork for moving forward. And then we kind of closed up the meeting. I had a question about the South Middle School track. It's such a nice facility, and it's locked up to the public, and I got a lengthy explanation of why that would it's too hard to open that up to the public, much like some of the other tracks that we have in the district. Once we open it up, it will become a dog park, and the maintenance can be super hard and expensive, and we just don't have the bandwidth for it, which is a sad truth, but definitely I understood that, and I've heard from some community members, so I wanted to report on that for this facilities meeting. My next committee notes, and if one of you wants to do better than me, please chime in, was the February 25th Finance Committee. The reason I'm not going to do well is because I had to take paper notes, and I can't read my handwriting currently. I know that we talked about the general fund budget. Coy updated us on year to date. It's coming in a little under budget, which is kind of typical of what happens, and he expects that we're under budget by about 437 now, and that will be at about 90. I wrote 90%. That doesn't seem right.
Probably 98-ish.
98. That seems more right. So 98% of budget by the end of the year. He talked about, and I think it's something that we should just make note of, that they're going to move some grant management money. Every time we get a grant, we get some money for grant management. And right now that's kind of just been floating around in the grant world. Not to say that it hasn't been spent appropriately, but it isn't actually funding the grant managers that we have. So he's going to move that money, about 500,000, about 400,000 will be moved to the general fund specifically to cover these grant manager positions, which makes good sense. It just helps in our accounting. And so we'll see that in the budget. And I wanted to point that out to you. Coy has been working on budget, finding $1 million to cut from our budget. He thinks, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but about 195,000 can be cut from buildings and grounds and transportation. They think they can do that pretty reasonably with ease, with reasonable ease. About 333,000 from supplies and materials. That's kind of across the board. Everybody will just have a cut in their supplies and materials budget, which will be hard, but I think we can manage expectations, you know, as every school knows that their budget is basically gonna stay flat, a little bit lower. Am I correct in that for supplied materials?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And then that leaves still trying to find about 475,000 to cut so that we can be responsible. And that will have to, that's gonna take some looking at where we can find positions that are open that we just will not fill and not post as something new, so we can remove them from our budget. Hard to do, especially hard to do when we're, when we know that we need as many staff members as possible, as many teachers and instructional and parapros as possible, but it's what we have to do. I'm not even gonna get into like what the deficit would be, because I still think there's we threw out some numbers, but I feel like it's just, we just don't know what the state's gonna do, so I don't need to throw out those numbers. Capital outlay is in a very healthy spot. We reiterated that, and that goes back to the facilities report that I had earlier. Capital outlay is in a healthy spot because Coy's been really mindful, I mean, with the facilities committee and the finance committee, but I'm not gonna take any credit, at building up a nice cushion so that we have money for some of these projects. So even with the Rapid Valley Elementary, we are doing well. And if we get the bond passed, we'll have the money in our capital outlay to combine with the bond and really make a huge dent in some of our longstanding facility needs. So it's good to know that that plan still feels really feasible, a bond combined with our capital outlay savings. And then we got a presentation from Dr. Thompson, a little preview of the staffing guidelines that will be at next week's study session, so I won't talk about that. You'll have to wait until next week, and God bless you.
Okay, I think well, let me speak for me, I'm on the finance committee, but I usually don't take notes because Kathy takes notes for us, so that might be a way to help with, if we still want to make a presentation, just read her notes.
That would be so smart.
And
I gotta go my own way.
yeah. And then Coy usually fills in the blanks, so I'm lazy about making these reports. All right, Mr. Sassy, you have your hand up.
Just really quick comment, part shout out, part explanation. Thank you, Christine, for bringing it up. The secure entrance bids that you approved tonight, wanted to give a shout out to Jade Clement. I always think, you know, education is an industry often, especially from a financial perspective, that we fall back on, this is how we've always done things. And sometimes it takes folks to break outside of the box and think about things differently. And so as you can see on there, and again, this is part explanation, there are multiple projects, each bid separately, however, in one bulk. And the shout I want to give to Jade is he thought about how to do this differently and approach those projects from a different perspective, because they are all unique yet headed for the same goal. And so we bid them essentially in bulk. And again, you know, they're looking at each project individually and providing an estimate, but providing an overall proposal to the district. So obviously we don't have a crystal ball to be able to say, here's how much that would have been had we bid each project independently. But we feel that there was significant savings involved in terms of companies being more respondent and looking at that from a different angle, given that it was a much bigger pot. I never would have thought of that. I think it's excellent to be surrounded by people that think outside the box. So Jade, if you're listening out there, great job. Thank you for thinking about things from a different perspective. So just wanted to explain that very quickly, sir. Thank you.
Very much. Ms. Clapham.
Very brief, just the legislative committee is just kind of a living, moving being all the time. Just saying we, you know, obviously see the standing positions. There are many bills, some of them that the necessity or the benefit of the board necessarily taking a stance is not necessarily beneficial one way or the other. There's so many, we really wanted to hone in and focus on the ones that really affect our district. And so that's what we've been doing. And we are in communication quite a bit, but it does seem like our direct reach outs to people on committees, and we've seen votes on committees go ways that we weren't predicting them to go in a good way. So it seems like that's really working. So if anybody gets a text or email that says, hey, can you reach out to so-and-so? It seems like it's been impactful and that it's working. So we're right now, of course, I said, we're mainly keeping our eyes on the property tax bills. We have no idea where those are gonna land really at this point. And then the other for community outreach, we obviously had the listening sessions. Thank all of you for being there for those. And, Dr. Thompson sent in her notes, kind of some follow-up to that. And right now, mainly in outreach, we're talking about, ways as we move forward to the bond, how to work on our communication and perception in the community and how to really get a positive, get more positive feelings towards the district and really get all the good things that the district's going out there. So we're talking about different ways of doing that. And so we're open to anybody's suggestions on that. And that's really all I got.
Okay, anything else on committee reports? All right, any other? Dr. Thompson.
Yes, Dr. Conroy got back to me. The GED graduation will be May 21st at 10 a.m. at RCAA.
Okay, how's that in relation to, is it the day before the?
Day before.
The day before the.
So
Okay.
Saturday.
Okay,
And Sheila will send you an invite to
thank
that
you
one
so
as
very
well.
much. I was scared to ask, but.
Okay, she's on it.
Thank you very much. All right, Ms. Clapham.
Just a couple quick things, and I sent a thank you. I got to do a bus ride along last week, and I learned quite a bit on that bus ride along. I had no idea that we had combination middle and elementary school routes, and watching a bus driver manage kindergarten through 8th grade students on one bus without a single problem was so impressive. And I just was really impressed with just the care and attention he gave to every kid on the bus, and I appreciated him letting me sit up there and ask questions and jabber on during the bus route. So that was a really good experience. And then I wanted to thank Ms. Johnson at Rapid City Alternative Academy. I was able to participate in a couple of Black History Month lectures in her class, and it was really nice to see her class and how that worked and the different lengths of class time. It's a longer lecture there than it is in standard at Stevens and Central. So that was really great. And I also learned when I was discussing with someone about the bus ride along, I didn't realize that there are a lot of districts in the state that actually, like, if you are inside the 5 mile, that parents have to pay a fee every year. I had no idea that was a thing. And so just letting our community know, like, there are a lot of districts that don't and so to see what we've been able to do and not cancel bus routes and still keep that in our budget, made me more excited about what we've been able to do for this district and provide for our kids when lots of areas in the state, I said, those parents have to write a check to get their kids to school on the bus. So I thought that was interesting.
All right, any other? I had a chance to go to the escape room experience. And I considered myself to be somewhat educated on poverty, but attending that escape room gave me experiences that let me know I don't know nothing of how it is. We were paired with a person, and we took our child to school using a gas fare, and I can't remember why, but we couldn't take him to school. We couldn't drop him off at school because something had happened. So then we had to take him to a friend, which used another gas voucher, and I think they only gave us 4. So how do you then go to your appointment? And so it was just a wonderful eye-opening experience. And one of the things that they said that I wanted, maybe Dr. Strasser can answer this question, get him involved. One of the things that struck me the most is when you have a parent who is late with a child, you don't know if that was all they could do was to at least get them there, right? They could have been doing the best that they can do, get them there at 11. And I know for the rest of us, especially being in the military, if you're late, you feel some type of way about being late. But for this particular parent, that might have been the best that they could do that day. And then to be treated poorly piles on top of that feeling that they already have And so then sometimes if you don't get up on time, if you don't, it's easier to stay home than to feel the wrath of being late. And so I know that the three of you all were talking about, or we're gonna talk about overall how we do things and can we do things better? Should we not be doing things? Is that a part of the discussion, how we treat parents who and families who are in poverty, that they, even if they're late or whatever their issue is, that we are positive about, well, thank you for at least being here today. Here's a, here's a stick or whatever it is to at least congratulate them for being there. So is that in the forefront of your minds, or how are you processing that?
Well, you called on Dr. Strasser, so I'll let him answer the majority of that. But I did want to say we have put or are putting all of our administrative assistants through that same experience with the escape room.
Yes.
So I think that will give them a better understanding of the impact that how they treat parents has on others.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew the secretaries were going. So there's other parts of the administration too that are.
No, same group. I said administrative assistants, that's the same as secretaries.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, I would echo that. Number one, we're taking a hard look at bringing clarity and consistency to our policy. So explaining that is one part. The other part is how do we welcome people into our building regardless of their situation,
Yeah.
exactly what you're describing. And that can often be the barrier, and you described it really well. And it's sometimes hard for adults to understand what a kid is thinking, feeling as they come into our building at any point, and especially if they're late. So certain training and acknowledgement and recognition of being service oriented and welcoming is a priority, and I think we're taking steps to work on that.
All right. Thank you very much. Mrs. Urban.
So it was the administrative assistants that were at the training? Or
Not mine. I don't.
I was just
know.
wondering who was open, who went.
Well, the one I went to was just me, I think.
Oh,
Angela's
board.
been one previously, but
I
then-
went to one also.
But then there's like one specifically for the administrative assistant scheduled separately.
that's great, because I think really it's those frontline people that have the biggest impact, and they're the ones that are dealing directly with our families. And I've heard it over and over again, even the setup of your school. If you have a glass window, or if you're above where the people are, all those things impact the way we interact with our families, and it's just crucial. I think that they are the ones that get that training, so I'm glad to hear that.
Ms. Stephenson.
Thanks. I just wanted to take a minute to thank the teachers and staff who showed up last week. And one is here, one teacher's in the audience, I think, but it was meaningful to me it was meaningful that all of you showed up to those listening sessions. And it was really meaningful how many staff showed up and, put their time and their hearts into letting us know what's going on. And I do think that sometimes it can get to be kind of a negative spiral. And I just want to reassure people that I didn't take home from that everything's on fire. I thought it was very nice to be able to hear here are the things that make my job challenging, if you really want to know. And recognizing that the people who showed up aren't everybody in the district, and they're just a group, but they had some really valid things, and they gave me pause and made me kind of rethink some things that I just thought it was a nice moment, even though it certainly was. It took some processing afterwards. It was hard to listen to the struggles that people are having. And I think, and I did want to say, I appreciate whoever brought up the Mississippi Miracle, and because it caused me to read a little bit and do some research, and I enjoyed kind of going down that rabbit hole.
Okay. Any other? All right, seeing none, I will entertain a motion to go into executive SDCL -1-25 -2.1, which deals with conversations about personnel, 2.3, which deals with issues as we consult with our legal in-house counsel, and 2.4, preparing for contract negotiations.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to go into executive session. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say no. Motion carries. We'll take a 3-minute break and we're in executive session now. So